Hi, how are you today, Miss Canales?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well. My name is Michael. I'm your occupational therapist for this session, okay?
Okay.
All right. This is our ADL kitchen. Welcome. I know that one of your main goals is to go home, right?
Yes.
As soon as possible.
Definitely.
So today, I will be giving you an evaluation of living skills. All right? It's called the Kohlman evaluation of life skills. All right? The reason I'm giving you this evaluation is to help determine your specific skills and to assist in intervention and discharge planning, getting you home. All right? It will take approximately 20 to 30 minutes to administer. I may be writing down notes as the evaluation progresses. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. And at the end of this evaluation, or at another designated time, when we're out of time, I will go over the results with you. All right? Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. First, do this. This is the reading and writing form that I asked Pam to fill out. Note that when asking Pam to fill out this form, I said first, do this. The reason for saying this is because I want to make sure that this is both an assessment of her self-care techniques and her cognitive ability. During the self-assessment that Pamela was completing, I, as the occupational therapist, was looking at her physical appearance to determine her level of self-care. That means looking for things like her clothing not being fastened properly, her hair being dirty or uncombed, dirty fingernails or ungroomed hands, unpleasant body odor, or obvious dental decay. Furthermore, I clarified, once she completed her self-assessment, the amount of times that she showered or bathed, washed her face, washed her hair, combed her hair, brushed her teeth, and ate, noting that the minimum standards for frequency of self-care activities, as outlined by the KELS assessment, include once a week bathing, once a day face washing, once a week hair washing, once a day hair combing, once a day teeth brushing, and twice a day eating. Once the self-care assessment has been completed, we can transition over towards safety and health, as shown now. Very good. You're doing great. Okay? Now I'm going to show you 4 pictures. There may be a dangerous situation in them, or there may not be anything dangerous at all. Look carefully at each of them, and you must decide if there's anything dangerous in the pictures. Okay? Do you see anything dangerous in this picture?
I see a wire and then going across the floor.
Okay.
It kind of seems like could easily trip over it.
All right, good. Do you see anything dangerous in this picture?
Seems like he's standing on a book that's resting on a chair. Could fall if the book slipped out.
Do you see anything dangerous in this picture?
No, I don't think so. I don't see anything dangerous there.
And do you see anything dangerous in this picture?
I see a hair dryer that's sitting near the sink, and it appears like the sink has running water, so could call for electrocution.
Well, very good. We'll move on to the next series of tests. The following is a list of assessments that we won't be completing through the course of this video. Nevertheless, they must be completed in the order that is listed. Next, we will focus on community mobility and telephone, specifically mobility within community. All right, you're doing great. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about your transportation, how you get around in the community. Okay. How do you get from one place to another in Southampton?
I take the bus.
Wonderful. When was the last time you've taken the bus?
I took the bus last Friday.
Friday. Do you use any other means of transportation?
Sometimes I'll have a friend or a family member give me a ride.
Okay. Community mobility and telephone also include assessments that gauge basic knowledge of the public transit system and use of telephone. Now, we will continue forward looking at employment and leisure participation, beginning with plans for future employment. All right, so earlier in this assessment, you said that you used to work for Target?
Yes.
Okay, but you don't work at Target right now?
No, not anymore.
Okay, when was the last time you worked for Target?
About 3 months ago.
Okay. Do you plan on going back to Target, or are you looking for another job?
I would like to go back to Target.
Okay.
I had the opportunity.
What kind of job was it?
It was I was pushing carts, bringing them back into the store, retrieving them from the parking lot, and just bringing them back.
Okay. And how will you go about going back to your job, back to your employer?
I would call my boss and then ask if there were any positions available.
Okay. How would you find your boss's phone number?
I would look in the contacts on my cell phone.
Okay. The Employment and Leisure Participation Assessment also includes leisure activity involvement. After the battery of assessments is completed, it is recommended that the therapist take time to review the results and compile a report to go over with the patient during the next session. Welcome back, Pam. I think you remember me. My name is Michael. I'm the occupational therapist that worked with you last week. We went over the Kohlman evaluation of life skills assessment together, and I told you that I was going to fill out a report of your scores that we can go over together next session at that time. Okay, I did make that report for you, and I wanted to take a little opportunity before our session begins to just go over that score report with you. Okay? The assessment tool that we used looked at 5 different areas of life skills. All right, and you did well in a lot of them. There were a couple of things I noted. You did say in your self-assessment that you only performed face washing and bathing about once a week. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about hygiene and maybe why you only bathe once a week, why you feel that that's all you need, and then if there's any kind of difficulties that you have with doing that, I can help assist you come up with solutions. All right, so we can get you home and healthy. All right, and the other thing that you noted that you had a little bit of difficulty with was your payment of bills. Sometimes that's a challenge for you even when you were working at Target. All right, so we can go over why that's a challenge for you and think of solutions together. All right, so that when you go home, you can do so as independently and confidently as possible.
Okay,
all right.
Great.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Then let's begin. The following is the KELS score form filled out by the occupational therapist during the assessment. Note that there are 4 categories available to fill in: independent, needs assistance, non-applicable, and C note. Independent and needs assistance are a little self-explanatory, while not applicable is meant for cases like somebody who is retired, where the question is irrelevant, and then C note is for any additional information the occupational therapist wants to write, for cases that are outside the boundaries of what the KELS assessment identifies.